Signal, the holy grail of the Knights of WhatsApp traders, is getting more and more traffic. Renegades from all over the world are showing their sticky fingers to Facebook's sugar-sweet mark and fancy themselves safe in the privacy of a new Signal. But how safe is Signal really? Will all secrets remain secret? Let's take a closer look now. Welcome to Ask a Data Protection Officer. This time with the exciting analysis of the messenger Signal. And this is really tough competition for the superhero Threema. But everything step by step. We want to check the current top messages for their security and include technology, law and economics. That's why I've come up with some points to make this check possible and to help you classify the results correctly. After all, the point is that you can make an informed and voluntary decision. Because I know that most of us can't do much with long prefaces, here are the final results for Signal. Signal offers one of the most outstanding end-to-end encryption with self-healing, collects almost no metadata and is run by a non-profit organization that has declared privacy for the masses and zero knowledge as its maxim. Ingenious, isn't it? Let's take a look at the criteria that led to the super rating in Signal's case. On the technical side, we have the questions. First, is there end-to-end encryption, and if so, is it secure? Second, is metadata collected, and if so, how is it anonymized and pseudonymized? Third, is the source code independently verifiable and independently validated? On the legal side, we have the questions. First, are the terms of use in compliance with the GDPR? Second, is the privacy policy easily understandable, transparent and precise? Third, can users fully exercise their rights and is the process easily accessible? Fourth, where is the provider located and which national laws are in effect? And on the business side, we conclude with the following questions. First, what is the provider's business model? Second, what is the asset value and ownership? And third, what aspirations for the future are known? Again, some gold stars to be earned, so I'd say get comfortable and look forward to this Signal test. Signal facilitates full end-to-end encryption for metadata as well. However, with the limitation of your smartphone's phone number. We will go into more detail on this point in a moment when we talk about metadata. The encryption technology was developed in 2013 by Moxie Marlinspike and Trevor Perrin under the name Axolotl Protocol, which was renamed Signal Protocol in 2016. The principle is based on a Diffie-Hellman key exchange combined with a key derivation using cryptological hash functions that are regenerated with each message. What? Don't worry, here comes a highly simplified explanation. The Signal protocol aims not only to encrypt the connection, but also to limit the damage if one of the participants is compromised. If two users would always use the same key to encrypt messages, an attacker who gets hold of the key could also decrypt previously sent messages if he has stored them. To prevent this, short-lived session keys are used for encryption and are frequently renewed in a special process called double ratchet. By renewing the keys, an attacker who knows individual session keys cannot decrypt future messages. Because of this property, the developers refer to the protocol as self-healing. Signal currently offers its services via the cloud servers of Google and Amazon. However, the encryption of the data makes it impossible for any third party to use it. The Signal servers store all content, for example messages and metadata, in encrypted form. However, the sender and recipient information is anonymized in such a way that the messages resemble a letter without a sender. This is because Signal attaches this information to the content of the message and thus prevent tracing, since the message themselves can only be decrypted by the original sender or recipient. Signal also works in a similar way with group chats, which is why no metadata about the participants is stored on the servers here either. To minimize metadata, Signal relies on the so-called zero-knowledge principle. This means data that is not necessarily needed is not even collected, stored or processed. For example, the phone number as the one processed. For example, the phone number as the only metadata record is not treated quite as securely. Since Signal uses the phone number to verify your account, this number is sent to an SMS verification company. They then know at least which phone numbers are generally registered with Signal and since when and how often you have started using the app. Combined with other information stored about your phone number, for example by your mobile carrier, it is possible to find out who is actually the user behind the Signal account. This is a shortcoming that only the Messenger Threema has solved so far. Signal handles other metadata very well due to the encryption and cannot decrypt it according to its own information. Signal's source code is fully disclosed and has been independently verified multiple times. Signal protocol has already been used for alleged encryption in WhatsApp since 2014, as well as in products from many other providers. In conclusion, Signal's technology can be described as very secure, and a few clever tricks ensure complete privacy even in group chats. Signal is operated by the US-American organization Signal Messenger LLC and was started by Moxie Marlinspike. You can find the detailed story about the beginnings of Text Secure and Redphone on Wikipedia, linked in the video description. Legally, Signal as a US company is subject to both the Patriot Act and the Cloud Act. These laws allow intelligence agencies and authorities to demand the release of data without a court order. The FBI has already tried to do this with Signal, but Signal was only able to report that a phone number had registered and when this happened. Further data could not be used due to the technology. Furthermore, Signal has already publicly announced that the organization will leave the USA as a location if laws want to compromise the security of users in the future. So a clear declaration of war against the US government and the control state behind it. On the Signal website, there is a privacy policy which, however, does not quite meet the criteria of the GDPR. Starting with the missing cookie box and opt-out option, it leads into a less than transparent statement about data transfer to third parties. In the section Information we may share, it says on the subject of third parties, we work with third-party providers to provide some of our services. For example, our third-party providers send a verification code to your phone number when you register for our services. These providers are required by their privacy policy to protect this information. Well then, all is well, right? No. Because as just mentioned, these third-party providers may also be located in a country where national laws may enforce the release of information. This would then quickly lead to the real person behind the Signal account. So, my dear Signal superheroes, there is still a little gap to close. As mentioned before, Signal Messenger LLC is a non-profit organization based in the USA. The organization is financed solely by donations and thus aims to prevent commercial interests from using personal data. In principle, Privacy for the Masses supports this effort. Exact figures on the amount of donations, profits, losses and turnovers are not known. Among the names of the investors are other foundations such as Freedom of the Press, Knight and the Shuttleworth Foundation. But also WhatsApp co-founder Brian Acton invested the currently highest sum of $50 million in 2018. Signal emphasizes in several own statements that the investors have no influence on the development of Signal, but as we all know, not everything that glitters is gold, and we also know we like shine better than truth, right? Edward Snowden, hashtag NSA Superfriend, gave Signal a data nerd accolade with a tweet saying, "I use Signal every day and I'm not dead yet." With one of the most wanted criminals by the most paranoid warmongers in human history,
USA! USA! USA!
that might be an indication of solid security. Signal excels at the end-to-end encryption and minimalist metadata collection. The technology is used by many other services as well, which would quickly expose any security vulnerabilities. The operation by a non-profit organization makes the messenger attractive for opponents of data spying companies like Facebook, Google, Amazon, Apple or Microsoft. The long development history shows the constant improvement of the zero-knowledge principle and makes the messenger appear secure and trustworthy. I use Signal and Threema myself, but Signal is clearly ahead in terms of user-friendliness. What do you think? Has this video changed or strengthened your opinion? Write me a comment and let's discuss that further. Next time, there will be another detailed checkup of WhatsApp, because fair are only those who are also fair to the bad guys, right? Bye bye!